Hi, good morning. Morning again. It is 6:13 p.m. And today we are going to talk about. Well, first and foremost, this is a practice video. I have a workflow for making videos, and I iterate on it over and over countless times. So basically, this is my newest one. I like it, but I need to make a video to test it. So basically, what we're going to do is something that my crackhead personality loves to do. Okay. Cheers. I like to create frameworks to understand reality because I have this innate belief that reality is understandable, quantifiable. Okay, maybe not quantifiable, but there are patterns that you can extrapolate meta patterns from to understand reality. Okay, so this is how I see it. And we're gonna try to use ChatGPT to go through this idea. And actually, let's ask ChatGPT. Go ahead and make me an image of oh wait, I don't know if it's gonna work with the music in the background. I'm also playing lo-fi in the background. Very cool. It does work. Make me an image of um someone trying to understand reality, and yeah, just go ahead and make that. I don't think that worked. I forgot I was gonna try to talk to AI during this video, which means goodbye lo-fi. Sorry guys. Okay, make me an image of a person trying to understand reality. Don't ask any further questions, just make the image. Okay, so this is how I view reality. There's base reality, right? That's everything in an infinite complexity. And that's the thing. Trying to understand the world is infinitely complex, which means that it is undoable. But there are layers of abstraction. Like how do humans understand farming? There are infinite variables to farming, but we are still able to get plants to grow from the ground because we understand if we prune the information with a goal in mind, we can get actionable information. I think we can do that with reality as a whole. I know I sound like a crackhead. I acknowledge that. But follow my train of thought. And I will probably use AI for more of this, but basically it's a wall I smash my head against every couple months or so. It is very impossible. It is an impossible task. But I am a stubborn motherfucker who will try countless times till something makes sense. Oh, that's interesting. It's artistic kind of version. Okay, anyways. Let's start recording. Okay, ChatGPT, we are trying to understand reality. We've come across this before. Maybe you have some new thoughts to input. But basically, I think all systems can be understood by extrapolating the relevant data from the infinite data that exists. There are two fundamental issues with this. One, humans are not equipped to handle all data. We know the light spectrum goes beyond what we can see. We know that there are parts of the universe we will never experience, just fundamentally out of sight, out of reach. We can kind of make some assumptions about the physical realm we're in right now, like between us and the moon and the solar system, we can make measurements and we can understand physics to that degree. But like in the book or in the show, we'll just leave it there, and then well help me guide me from here. I don't want to make this too long. If you make a message too long for ChatGPT, it spits back nothing, which is annoying for me. But we will not get into that right now. But basically, what I was getting to before at the end of that text, that point, was damn it, forgot the name. Aliens basically try to stop human ingenuity. All I'm looking it up. Sorry. Base. Ability show. Okay, not interested. Sorry. I know it's gonna pop up with just that prompt. The three body problem. Damn it. Okay, so the three body problem posits a infinite, not infinite universe, but a vast universe in which different aliens are trying to destroy different alien civilizations destroy one another, and they do so by literally breaking the laws of physics. Which, if you know me, is a very fucking interesting topic, and it boggles my mind that people don't take it into account. I grew up Christian. I grew up making excuses for why Christian beliefs made logical sense in the with the scientific data. One I would always throw out there was, why do we assume the laws of physics are static? Like when God says in Genesis, "Let there be light," and then the next day He creates life, and then the next day He creates more life. And we always assume, well, some theologians argue, oh, those were like epochs, and He just called them days. But then I was like, but my more logical brain was like, why the fuck we got to make that argument? Why don't we just say that at that point in time, time did not work like it works for us? Or maybe for him, that is what a day feels like. Like, what if to God, he was being descriptive from his point of view? So one day in our time, if he was human, because he did become human eventually in the Christian theology, was just that whole day. I'm just saying, like, we make excuses to explain away data, but that is actually a valid point. We don't have access to previous points in time. We don't have access to parts of the universe outside of our observable reach. And even if we can observe it, doesn't mean the information we're getting from them is accurate for shit. It's not. You can't make an argument for any intellectually honest individual will agree with me on those points. Regardless of what comes after, those fundamental points just accurate. It's like if I told you, hey, what's in that room over there? You haven't been in that room. I haven't been in that room. And I start describing, like, yeah, in that room, the laws of physics do this and that. And in that room, there's no gravity. You'll be like, what the fuck? How do you know? I don't know. I'm just assuming. That's what we do with all of reality. When we make estimates about the past, when we make estimates about the universe as a whole, we're assuming things we have no right to assume. If you can wrap your head around that, you're my people. If you can't, it's okay. I know I sound like a crackhead. Moving on. Okay, reality. Let's see what ChatGPT came up with. You're right. Reality contains infinite data. Every point in space has infinite photons moving throughout. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, this is the really shitty part about reality. Humans evolved a compression algorithm, not a truth engine. You and I were not designed to understand truth. We weren't designed at all. We don't know. You can make the argument for evolution, make the argument for anything you want. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't fucking matter. We know we do not observe all of reality. We know we cannot hold within our brains all of existence. We just can't. We are finite. We have limits. Um, in fact, like when you see a face in the dark, that is your brain jumping the gun. And our brain does that infinite times, and they're called cognitive fallacies. Basically, your brain goes ahead of itself, and it is very fucking useful because you can react on instinct within like milliseconds, but it's not accurate. It's not accurate for shit. Moving on. Sorry. Humans don't see reality. They see edges, movements, color bands, shapes, threats, opportunities, and social cues. Everything you consciously experience is lost in compression format. Yeah. Fucking memories. Like, if the amount of studies done on memory and how shitty it is fucking wild. We remember emotions. We remember feelings really intensely. But actual fucking facts? No. We suck at that for the most part. There are a few anomalies in the human population. Da-da-da-da. But yeah, basically that he's just repeating back to me what I said. I knew exactly what I was talking about, the three body problem. Ba-da-ba-dum. Okay, I'm curious. From your perspective and the knowledge you have access to, does layers of abstraction, number one, do they exist? Or is it something our brains create? Fuck. I never actually stopped to think about that. Do layers of abstraction even exist? Because they might not. Maybe it's just a way for our brains to understand reality without fucking burning out. Okay, second thought. If layers of abstraction do exist, do they have like similar properties that travel up and down the ladder of abstraction? This is me just full blown. I don't give a fuck what y'all think about me. This is the fucking psycho part of my brain that exists, but I don't have many people to talk about these things. Fuck. Patterns that give rise to abstractions do exist. That's probably far more accurate to anything else I could think of. Reality itself is not layered. Okay. And once again, I'm not taking this as ground truth in any way, shape, or form. I'm taking it as a discourse between me and this AI that has access to far more information than I do. So basically, we observe stable systems because unstable systems just fade from reality. Yeah, like yeah, they exist for minutia, minuscule times frames. Reality is not layered, but the patterns in reality allow layers to be useful in mental invention. Fuck. Also, I do believe we have a moral um, responsibility to understand reality as best we can and able to aid us in making the most moral decisions possible. Human beings are not born with the same capability to understand reality, sadly. So we're not on an even playing field. But there are so many people who to like just like it's not my problem. I didn't know that driving 50 miles an hour was gonna cause an accident, but you did know that by driving 50 miles an hour, you increase your likelihood of causing an accident a great deal. Therefore, you are responsible. Like that kind of thing. And like if you knew that, or what if there's another meta layer to expand upon? What if you were driving to the hospital and you knew that if you didn't drive 50 miles an hour, you knew for a fact that the heart would run out of blood, the body would run out of blood, and your only possibility was to drive 50 miles an hour. It's a more nuanced situation, but since you have the capability of abstracting to that layer, you have a moral responsibility to act upon that information. That was a tangent, which we will explore some other day. Feel free to ask questions in the comments about that. Okay. The brains evolved to compress information efficiently. That, yes, okay. We create similar abstraction hierarchies. Higher levels lose detail but gain predictability if we're talking about the ladder of abstraction. Physics, exact but low level. Chemistry, less exact but more structured. As you go up the ladder of abstraction, entropy increases, coherence increases. Hmm. sorry, my brain thought, okay, physics, atoms do this and this and this every time. Um, but then like my cat is fucking up my shoe. It's okay. I don't like that shoe very much. Um, but then like when we do science experiments, like when we combine, like say you have a gas chamber and you put in hydrogen and you put in oxygen and you introduce some sort of like catalyst, we know that maybe 99% of that will turn into water, but not all of it. Even if like all our calculations are perfect, we just know that in reality things don't aren't perfect. There's always like some variation. There's always like we know that just humans are incapable of creating perfect, like we're incapable of distilling hydrogen to be 100% hydrogen, and like we can get to 99.99, but we'll never really hit that 100% mark. Maybe one day, but not right now. So then you go higher up the abstraction ladder, and then you start worrying about systems where there's more moving parts. So as you go up the abstraction ladder, there's more moving parts, more chaos, but somehow we make sense of it. Okay, I'm gonna talk to that one more time, and then we're probably gonna cut it off because I don't like making too long videos. But basically, okay, so if we're talking about abstractions, the higher up we go, what are the rules? What are the rules for abstraction up and down the ladder? At the base layer, we know atoms to X, Y, and Z in X, Y, and Z environments. Going up, that would be like this combination of materials, and this combination of materials will create this material. I'm kind of getting lost. Like, what are the rules that determine the behavior in one layer of abstraction? And do those rules scale upwards? Is there a rule to scale those rules? That might have sounded like nuts. Probably was. Let's find out. Let's see what the AI thinks. Oh, answer in layman's terms. Sorry, I do that every once in a while because like it'll start being like very philosophical. I'm like, I don't fucking know what that means. Higher level rules are always built on lower level rules, but they are simpler, more general, more predictable than the rules below them. Okay, simpler. Okay, the higher up the abstraction ladder you go, say you're trying to describe humanity, the rules must be simple because they're going to have nuance. You have to account for nuance. It's like if I say United States is headed for conflict. That is pretty fucking straightforward. And they're more nuanced and less accurate. Because like there is a 50-50 chance. Maybe we stay in peace. Maybe it's just like the higher up you go, the more nuanced every prediction gets. It's like if you're guiding a boat on an ocean, you can kind of guide it the right way in general, but you're not gonna get coordinates because you're like guiding it for such a high up level. I'm trying to understand it. Like I really am. Maybe there's something I'm missing. I'm trying to find like a some sort of also Felix says hi. Say hi. Okay, so basically the higher up you go, the more broad the rules you make must be to account for nuances in reality. Because there's more moving parts in any system. I think that's the closest we're gonna get to it. Fix my theory right now. My theory at the moment is the higher up you go, the more broad your rules have to be to account for nuance and the fact that there's so many moving parts. Is there something I'm missing here? what you're missing, the key insight, the rules don't get broader because there are more moving parts. The real reason is higher level layers can no longer see the details. So they must describe patterns, not mechanisms. Oh, so we jumped from base reality to statistics, essentially. You're talking about patterns, how patterns. So when you go high enough up the abstraction ladder, you must describe patterns. You are no longer dealing with physical objects, which in a closed environment or open environment, whatever, you are dealing with an infinite environment that you cannot quantify because we just don't have the ability to. If we could, great, we could, but we can't. So given those that reality and going up the abstraction ladder, you begin to hit probabilities and statistics because that's just how the world works. We have no other method of measuring it. Like in one instant in time, yeah, I can tell you there are 93 atoms in this balloon, so to say. But I can't tell you there will be 93 atoms in that balloon forever. I can tell you there will be 93 atoms in that balloon for 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. The more you go up, change must occur because that is reality's default. Fix any errors in my thinking. I was talking to ChatGPT that entire time. I don't know if I mentioned that. I don't know. I just feel like there's something I'm not quite hitting on. Ah, no, yes, okay. So yeah, it's not that we can't have a perfect simulation of reality and predict the future. We just don't have the ability to. Which is why I find the three body problem lacking. These aliens, well, no, yes and no. Okay, so basically, the aliens are able to create massive planet sized supercomputers at an atomic scale. But, like, in essence, they're equivalent to a supercomputer. And they use that to analyze human society and predict our behavior, what we're going to do, and thwart us from creating technology that would surpass them. Because they don't want a fair fight, they want to take over the planet. Um, but then humans, it turns out that humans just evolve ridiculously faster than these aliens. So those two forces are constantly in flux, and the aliens can see everything that humans do, but they can't see inside the human brain. And for a second, I was like, that doesn't make sense. But then the fact that humans do evolve so quickly does make sense, like to compete with them. Moving on, that was a complete tangent. Okay, we use statistics at higher levels not because we lack methods, but because higher level phenomena are statistical by nature, meaning a single atom is deterministic. A billion atoms together create behavior that is inherently probabilistic. A trillion neurons firing creates behavior that is emergent and statistical. A society of millions is statistical all the way down. Statistics aren't a fallback, they are the natural language of systems with many interacting parts. Statistics aren't a fallback, they are the natural language of systems with many interacting parts. Okay, this is what it says is the correct way of thinking of this, according to the AI. As systems get larger and more complex, their behavior stops being about individual parts and starts being about statistical patterns. That isn't because of human limitation, it's because of how that's how aggregated reality works. Does reality operate this way because oh shit, we're at 25 minutes. Okay, does reality work this way because of the fact that like even atoms are in a state of constant flux, so we cannot predict many things. We can predict what will likely happen, but not never exactly what will happen. Sorry, I'm quiet because I'm reading. Nothing really changed. It basically is saying even if atoms acted like billiard balls, static, nothing different. Even small changes would ripple throughout the system. But my thing is, when we be able to account for all those? Anyways, we're gonna have to leave it there. This wasn't a video to come up with any kind of great truth. This was just exploring these ideas because I am a crackhead and I love doing that. Stop it, buddy. You're smacking your head every time you jump up here. Sorry, my cat, Felix. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. I wish he was. I wish he was. What's that word? When they do that thing with their chest. Purring, but sadly no. I want to get it on the microphone. I have a great microphone right here, but haven't had a chance yet. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'm William in the Middle. William from William in the Middle. And yeah, see you guys next time.